It's,
No,
I'm,
we didn't get that invite.
it's not, you don't get Cardi B, you get Cardi J. So, all right, here we go. Who is handling, I'm looking at my friends down the end, who is handling the public comments? Okay, take it away, thank you. The Capital Program Committee September meeting is called to order. We'll hear from the public now.
Mr. Chair, we have 6 members of the public registered to speak. Our first speaker will be Jason Anthony, followed by Christopher Greif.
Hey, Janelle, Jamie, and the rest of the committee meeting. Jason Anthony, the transit guru. Happy belated, Janelle. I hope that you enjoyed your birthday. Regarding those announcements of full disclosure, I rather have Bad Bunny as a Puerto Rican than I am rather than Cardi B. That's my personal opinion.
It's not on the agenda, so please stick to the agenda.
I know, but that was my personal opinion. But returning to the agenda, Second Avenue Subway, I cannot wait to see those 3 stations open because I cannot wait to see the Q train going to 125th Street because that will take off the pressure of the Lexington Avenue line, especially on the 6th. Because every time that I see the 6 now, it is so overcrowded that it looks like sardines in a can. Because people like me that likes to go to the Bronx, that now we could take the Q train all the way from Brooklyn to 125th Street and switch to the 6th there instead of taking long trains, standing room only. So that will be more beneficial for us. So that's all for my agenda this month. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Christopher Greif, followed by Jack Connors.
Good afternoon. I'm Christopher D. Greif. As we are discussing a lot of good capital things, including accessibility, elevators, ramps, IBX, the Second Avenue Subway, I'm very glad to see that how our transportation is getting to be more accessible. You know, it's like 15 years ago, almost then, there was nothing that talked about accessibility. Now we look at today, at 2025, there's more things about accessibility we're talking. From not just buses and accessorize the railroads, but everything. Moving up, getting things accomplished, getting accessibility into the new 21st century. And I will say this every time, the future of accessibility rides with us all, and we continue advocating from now until to the next millennium. So thank you.
Our next speaker will be Jack Connors, followed by Charlton D'Souza.
Good afternoon. I'm Jack Connors, Research and Communications Associate at the Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee to the MTA, PCAC. Last week was UN General Assembly and Climate Week in New York City, with traffic congestion at its peak and vital conversations about reducing car dependence, our carbon footprint, and building resilient transit systems top of mind. Nearly all MTA expansion projects, including the Second Avenue Subway and IBX, along with state of good repair and resiliency projects, will help us reach our critically important climate goals and make our system more resilient to extreme weather, whether it be heat or water. However, these goals are threatened by a federal government that appears to value space for cars on the road above all else. We've watched with alarm as USDOT cancels RAISE grants, originally awarded in 2022, for projects in Boston, Connecticut, and elsewhere across the country. These projects support transit, reduce our collective reliance on cars, and promote public health. We know how much safer and greener transit is compared to driving, yet even though these projects are projected to reduce traffic violence and increase safety, a clearly stated goal of this administration, and one we agree with, they seem to be at serious risk of cancellation. We know that the administration's hostility to New York over congestion pricing remains unresolved, even if the outlook is positive and the program is a major success. and we stand ready to challenge their clear hypocrisy and cynicism. There are always challenges with capital funding. Last year at this time, we were still anticipating the implementation of congestion pricing and concerned about securing funding for the next capital plan. If it's not one thing, it's another. PCAC looks forward to continuing to help the MTA and riders overcome whatever hurdles lie ahead, so we can continue to build a more resilient and reliable system for the generations to come. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Charlton D'Souza, followed by Alita Dupree.
Good afternoon. My name is Charlton D'Souza. I'm the president of Passengers United. So we are opposed to any fare increases, and we feel that coins should still be accepted on all MTA buses, especially the local buses, because our seniors cannot afford a $5 charge for an Omni card just to buy it and then reload it. And as far as the promotional transfer for the Queens bus redesign, that should also be extended as part of the fare increases in January. And also this special one-day unlimited ticket that y'all want to have for city ticket. It makes no sense. We don't need that. What we need is either a 3-day or a 7-day city ticket weekly. That's what we need. That is what people want. And that is not being offered as part of the MTE fare increases, which is pretty ridiculous. And the elected officials have known about it. I don't know why the governor is not signing this into law and getting this done. People deserve to travel between the Long Island Railroad and Metro North. And what about the ticket that you guys have called the combo ticket? Nowhere in your materials is anything mentioned for the combo ticket and whether that's going to be extended. That actually is a good program that allows people discounts. So that program should be kept, the combo ticket. And also for the one-day period, the one-day ticket that you guys have should be extended to about 48 hours or 3 days, not the current period of 4 hours that y'all want to do now, or 4 a.m. That doesn't work for people. Again, this is Passengers United, and thank you so much. Thank you.
Our next speaker will be Alita Dupree, followed by Maddie Bucky's Highland.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Jano Lieber and members. Alita Dupree, for the record, she and her with Team Folds talk about capital today. Big report. A lot about the 2nd Avenue subway. I'm following this in earnest. We did have a 2nd Avenue subway meeting last month. I just want to let you know that the district secretary didn't send complete Zoom codes, so I couldn't share. So anyway, enough about that. But 2nd Avenue subway is very near and dear to me. And I'm looking forward to when we get into the hard construction. And that will show that we are going to get this done. I think we're going to get this done. We want to make sure we have everything in place. In this report, there's lots of other things, often the things that we don't see or hear about, but they're necessary for us to be able to keep our system running. I remember one of you, I don't remember who it was, who said something like this: how do we keep a 120-year-old transportation system from falling down? Well, it's this work that we're doing to keep our system from falling down and to keep it going into the future, because I depend on this. Omni is an essential part of capital. It's a mega project, as you've said, and I'm spreading the idea of mega project to other systems. I'm looking forward to the changes that are coming to Omni, and I'll talk about fares in another forum. But really, it is all these things that we don't see. I'm following the work with the Grand Central train shed and with the rebuilding of the Park Avenue viaduct.
Got everything out the door?
Seeing some of this work.
Everything out of the door?
So I look forward to you continuing the work of capital and making sure that we get the money that we need to get this work done so I can enjoy this system to its fullest. Thank you.
Chair, that concludes today's remarks.
Thank you, and thank you to the members of the public who spoke. All right. Chairs of the August committee meetings. August committee minutes have been distributed and are available on the website. Are there any changes or comments? Looking at Mr. Albert, none. May I have a motion to approve? Thank you, Dr. Rizzo. Second, thank you, Ms. Lopez. All in favor, the minutes are approved. Are there any changes to the work plan, Mr. Torres-Springer?
No changes to the work plan.
Okay, please go ahead with your president's report.
Thank you very much, Chair, members of the committee. Good to see you out here in Brooklyn. Our cover shot here is New Lots Station, which has been seeing a lot of work. It has been a lot of weekend service impacts, but to get that ADA accessible station done, this one's going to be great. We're very proud of it. This is the terminal
Mr. Torres-Springer,
station. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. There's one other person online who is going to be speaking.
Okay,
I'm sorry about that.
no problem.
And our last speaker is Maddie Bucky's Highland. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you what, why don't we, if you can record his testimony, we'll make it available to the board. We want to continue with the committee meeting. Thank you.
Very good. So at New Lots, which is a terminal station and a Center Island platform, we will make this station accessible with one elevator. This required a lot of creativeness, innovation in the approach to design, a lot of working with city DOT to make sure that the street was able to function. When we put that elevator in, that's going to connect to that Center Island platform. But this is the most cost-effective way that we can make a station ADA accessible. A single elevator. That's part of Package 5, and it'll be done. It's on schedule for the second quarter of next year for completion. This month, we completed 2 new ADA accessible stations at Northern Boulevard on the M and the R, and Mosholu Parkway on the 4. These mark our 4th and our 5th ADA accessible stations this year. That marks 38 total since C&D was created in 2020, 33 more in construction, and now we have many more in design and procurement. 2 of those are in what we call Package 7, which is coming to the committee today and then the board tomorrow, assuming the committee approves it. For approval of a design build contract today. Evan will talk more about that, but that's federally funded package. Federal support for accessibility continues, and it includes 167th Street on the B and the D and Kingsbridge on the 4. Many of the other stations that are about to hit construction are funded by congestion pricing, which I'll remind you supports 23 more ADA accessible stations, a real benefit to the region. And as we always remind everyone, we are getting these things done at 5 times the pace of earlier days at the MTA. With the 25 to 29 plan, once it's fully implemented, we'll be at more than 50% of our 472 stations made ADA accessible. The capital plan is making major progress on renewing and improving our trains and buses. The governor announced at the start of Climate Week last week 27 new dual-mode locomotives have started to operate on the Hudson Line for Metro North. Aside from improving service with 1,000 more horsepower than the current fleet, these chargers from Siemens are really a major climate initiative. Just spend a second on that. The current fleet of locomotives that are being replaced can only operate under electric power in the 4 miles of tunnels into and out of Grand Central Terminal. These new locomotives can operate in electric mode the entire 102 miles of Metro North third rail territory before switching to diesel. That reduces airborne pollutants from operation of that service by 85%. The same contract, I'll remind you, will include locomotives for Long Island Railroad. We announced that in June. 22 more dual-mode locomotives will be purchased for Long Island Railroad, and of course, lots more to come as part of the new capital plan's $11 billion investment in rolling stock. In Nassau County, we replaced the Webster Avenue Bridge that was completed in the last month. That bridge dated to 1897. It's a vehicular bridge that really risked becoming a hazard. So we stepped up to replace it, and we improved it with a wider bridge, greater clearance, much better stormwater management system to resist the effects of severe weather. Earlier this week, or I guess it was last week, we completed the bridge and opened it to traffic under budget, 4 months ahead of schedule. In fact, our design builder got the bridge into place with 1 weekend outage instead of 2, which on its own saved our riders and taxpayers $1 million in associated costs. The work on finishing the tap and ride program so we can sunset MetroCard later this year continues apace. Last Friday, this is a proud moment for C&D's management of this project. Our team installed the 980th of 980 OmniCard vending machines at the 125th Street station on the 1 line. Now there is an in-service card vending machine in every borough at all 472 New York City transit stations. We remind our riders, of course, that they can tap their bank card or Apple or Google Wallet to use the system without buying a separate card, but stored value OmniCards are available now to anyone who needs them. This was quite a feat, this installation. We got 98% of the card vending machines installed by August, but the last 24, including this one, required work trains and track outages to install due to constraints in our complicated system. So it's never easy in our system, but getting from 98% to 100% is a big feat. A lot more going on Omni implementation, including a lot of big software work that's happening over the next few days, and more to report on that soon. Earlier this month, C&D released a request for information for geothermal cooling technologies that could reduce ambient peak temperatures in our subway stations, starting with 168th Street and 181st Street on the 1 line. We continue to explore ways of dealing with this difficult condition in our system, which physically can't be fully air-conditioned because of the way it was built. And, of course, it traps the heat from train movements in stations. So we always say that the best measure we can take to keep our passengers cool is frequent, reliable service, and we certainly are putting that on. But we've also taken a number of steps since the release of a previous solicitation last year, including we're looking at piloting a heat recovery technology in one station that will use station heat to generate power while cooling the station, more deployment of fans and other cooling mechanisms, and this promising option of digging down to cooler groundwater as a source of lower temperatures. More to come on that when we see the results from this RFI. We're now going to turn to business unit reports. This month is a report on active mega projects. We'll cover 2nd Avenue Subway and the Inner-borough Express this month, and we're just wrapping up some final schedule management and reporting work on Penn Station Access, and we'll cover that at next month's CPC. With that, I want to introduce the lineup we have here. I think you've met them all, but Sib Rizwan, who you last saw at our special board meeting to approve the tunnel contract in August, is the leader of our 2nd Avenue Subway project. He's joined by a special guest who wanted to join us today, Richie Fitzsimmons, who's the business manager for Liuna Local 147, also known as the Sandhogs. And we have a great relationship with the Sandhog leadership, and so glad Richie's here to talk about how we're working together to reduce cost and deliver with minimal risk. Miriam Harris, who's our head of transit-oriented development, which is very important real estate work is going on for tenant relocations. We've reduced tenant relocations by half on phase 2 of 2nd Avenue Subway, and we are we are aggressively finding ways to help with relocations, and Miriam's going to talk about that. It's a subject that's very important. And then our Inner-borough Express team, Charlie Ganson, Jordan Shapiro, are just on the cusp of starting the preliminary engineering design, which the board approved in June, and we're going to hear from them as well. So with that, I'll pass it on to Sib.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Springer. My name is Sib Rizwan. I'm the program exec for 2nd Avenue Subway Phase 2. Just a quick refresher on our project scope. 2nd Avenue is one of New York's most transformative transit expansions that will extend the Q line with 3 new stations being added at 106th, 116th, and 125th Streets. This will deliver critical connectivity and revitalize the East Harlem area. Over 100,000 daily riders will benefit from this project, and commutes are going to be cut by 20 minutes. That's real time back to people's lives. So we're quite proud of it. We have streamlined our delivery approach into 4 big packages to eliminate interfaces, which was a lesson learned from phase 1 delivery. It will be easier to manage and harder to delay. We built in accountability in our contract packages as well by adding incentives for performance and disincentives if the contractors fall behind. And we've been successful at that. We have critical milestones in the packages that we have awarded so far for Second Avenue Phase 2. However, tunnel boring, cavern excavation, and station box handovers are front and center. We've hit the ground running already. Utilities are almost a third done. The tunnel contract was recently awarded, and the 106th Street Station RFP package is going to be released today. This is what strong leadership looks like. Milestones are lined up, contracts are secured, and a clear path has been established to move forward. I'll brief you on where we stand in terms of our delivery at the moment. The program remains within the FFGA agreement, and we are on track to deliver this project by September 2032 within the $6.98 billion budget with strong 25% contingency relative to construction costs still in reserve. Like I said, utility packages are almost a third done. Some productive efforts are underway with the contractor to mitigate some unforeseen delays that we have experienced so far due to access agreements and encountering differing site conditions. This will, however, not have any impact on the overall project completion date, and work is underway. A little bit flavor on the recently awarded package for tunneling. It was a $2 billion project, which you all approved, the largest in MTA history. It was awarded to a joint venture of Halmar, FCC, and COVI that are operating under an acronym CPP, Connect Plus Partnership. Notice to proceed was issued on September 2nd, 2025. Halmar, as you know, is a trusted New York builder and currently involved in Park Avenue Viaduct reconstruction project while keeping Metro North service running. FCC is a global tunneling powerhouse with major metro and high-speed rail tunnels that they have built in Doha, Riyadh, and across Europe. COVI is also in partnership with these entities. It's also an internationally recognized design builder responsible for signature works like the Copenhagen Metro and the Fehmarn Belt Tunnel, all multi-billion-dollar projects. Together, this team combines local expertise, global tunneling experience, and world-class design capability. That's why we're confident that this historic contract is in the right hands. 106th Street Station, like I mentioned, the RFP will be issued today as scheduled. That was our commitment to FTA as well, so we've done that as well, significant accomplishment there. Our last package is for the systems and for the architectural fit out of the 3 stations which I mentioned. The final design is already underway. Work is almost 40% complete with daily and weekly oversight in place. We have also onboarded, since our last update, a project management consultant, and we've brought in AECOM and HNTB to provide us management capability. Their critical team members are already on board and helping us in project execution. Now, just a quick refresher on our approach as well. You may have seen this stuff before, but essentially what we're trying to do is leverage everything that we learned from phase 1 in executing phase 2 smarter. We are reusing existing tunnels at 116th Street Station. We have optimized the station sizes and reduced back of the house facilities, and we're building only what's needed, so there's no wait. The bottom line is that we have already saved $1.3 billion on this project from our cost containment measures, and this is how we're delivering for New York. In addition to that, we are leveraging the best contracting frameworks for Second Avenue Subway as well. We are using design build where it drives speed and innovation, and design bid build where it makes sense. We have added strong incentives and disincentives. If the contractor delivers, they win. If they don't, they pay. That's real accountability that we're driving. We have locked milestones to critical paths like TBM launch dates, cavern excavation, and station box handover. These are big drivers that make or break delivery. This is the best contracting framework. It's simple, it's tough, and built for success. We are setting the bar high, and we will make sure that it gets done. In addition to leveraging the contracting models, we are also leveraging technology in execution of Second Avenue Phase 2. We will be utilizing world-class variable density tunnel boring machines that can adjust in different modes in real time. They're also capable of lighting the tunnel segments seamlessly as they advance forward. This technology will reduce downtime, it requires smaller crews, and delivers higher productivity. We are not just building tunnels. We are committed to deployment of the most advanced tunneling methods in New York. In addition to that, we have new labor agreements that put safety, efficiency, and productivity first. I'm going to allow Mr. Rich Fitzsimmons to talk a little bit about how the local vote 147 is going to help us in delivering this project better, faster, and cheaper.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for having me here, everybody. I appreciate it, especially to the chairman. Thank you so much, Chairman, Jamie, and all the board members. Thank you. Never been in a room with so many suits. Appreciate it. I actually had to get it cleaned and pressed. New shirt, too, a new shirt, too. Okay, my name is Richard Fitzsimmons. I was the business manager for Local 147 for 33 years, 11 terms, pretty good. Just recently retired in the last 5 months. My brother took my spot. He was unable to be here today, so I'm here, and I do know a lot about the subway system going back to my father. All right, good morning, Chairman, distinguished members of the MTA board, state and local officials, and partners. It is a privilege today on behalf of the men and women who dedicate their lives to building New York's crucial infrastructure. The Second Avenue subway is more than just a project. It is a promise to the people of the city that we will deliver world-class transit safety efficiency with pride. First and foremost, I want to thank the MTA for its vision and leadership. This board has carried forward a project that has been dreamed about for generations, and today we see it moving forward because of your commitment. Thank you so much. It's appreciated. I also want to thank our elected officials at both city and state levels whose support and advocacy have been essential. Equally important, I want to recognize the General Contractors Association and our contractor partners who is so important that we partnership to get these jobs done. Their collaboration with labor has ensured that we build not just fast, but safely with the highest standards of quality and efficiency. Today, management and labor are proving what can be achieved when everybody is united behind one goal. We respect the MTA's goals to deliver better, faster, and cheaper. We have made tremendous progress in our collective bargaining agreements with the help of the General Contractors Association of New York that have increased productivity, which the MTA has estimated can save an approximate amount of $100 million. Last week, we came to a further agreement with the MTA on an alternative dispute resolution. This is for accidents, because a lot of times our accidents are catastrophic, and they end up with large settlements. So obviously, we want to not so much get the settlements down, we want to get the accidents down. If you prevent the accidents, you prevent the lawsuit. So obviously, safety is super important. Let's prevent the accidents so we have nobody suing the agency or the city or the contractors. Okay, alternative dispute, which can help all the parties, and it's more than that too. When you're not disputing, you can actually get the care you need faster. Fast means more money probably in a member's pocket. He gets benefits while he's out of work in the form of a workman's comp. So we want to expedite the whole thing, not get into a big giant 3-year lawsuit where nobody gets any money and the guy's broke for 3 years. That's not very good. Doesn't help his family at all. Okay, accidents. Preventing the accidents, most important, should be number one, priority, helping all parties. Thanking everybody in attendance again, and then I'm gonna go back to my original. Most importantly, though, a lot of times we forget. I never forget all the people in this room, the design, the builders, the people who went to college, that can actually design this stuff before we build it. I'm amazed by it. I'm amazed how hundreds of engineers, or thousands in some cases, can come together and build these beautiful projects that we should be so proud of. We have the best water system in the world, best per capita water, and we have the best transit system. It's still, I believe, I don't want to talk out of school, it is still a one fare system, am I correct? Can you go from the Bronx to Coney Island with one fare? You can, right? A lot of times we leave that out, we compare it to systems around the world. They're multi-fare systems. They got 2 or 3 transfer spots where they collect extra fare and extra money, so we should be so proud on the front end that it's a one fare system. Bronx, Woodlawn to Coney Island, one fare. Super proud of that. But another thing that we forget a lot, and I represent the men and the women. Most importantly, I want to honor the men and women underground every day, the tunnel workers, laborers, engineers, operators, whose skills, and a lot of these people are inspectors too, and they're subjecting themselves to the same airborne dust that we are, the moving motors back and forth. So we got to give a lot of credit to the inspectors, all the civil people that are in the tunnel. They're doing the job too. They might not be doing the actual labor, but they're doing the thinking, which is hard also. Okay, so the engineers whose skill and dedication make this possible. They work in some of the most challenging conditions imaginable, and the head of the MTA has seen the challenging conditions we do work in. And yet they show professionalism, efficiency, and above all, a commitment to safety. Their work will stand the test of time. Anything we build is good for 100 years. We're still using a system 120 years old. So let's keep that in mind too. These aren't disposable systems. They're forever. And as long as you maintain them, they'll last forever. I'm going to give the whole city of New York and the state some credit. They do the best construction in the world. They use the best products, the best concrete, the best mixtures, all inspected to make sure that the concrete don't fail. A good example would be the bridge. I shouldn't be talking about bridges here today, but the bridge, Tappan Zee Bridge, the Cuomo Bridge would be a good example of how we've moved to make jobs actually a reality and finish them on time, on budget, hopefully under budget, and then you could push for more work. My dad always used to say, don't outprice yourself out of the market. If you make the work so expensive that people look for alternatives like bridges or other methods, ferries, you could use many methods. We want tunnels. I'm here for the tunnel workers. I advocate for tunnel workers, and I believe in them wholeheartedly. My family has invested their whole lives. My dad joined the union in 1954 to go to work on the 2nd Avenue subway. Imagine that. And here you are, 2 generations, 3 generations later, still working on it, not to mention the good paying jobs that you provided to so many people that were able to get their children out of the tunnel, to become one of those engineers, to educate them, to give us enough money in our pocket to send the kids to college. That's the goal. So I want to thank you for all that, and I think that's it. That's it.
Thank you.
I just wanted to, tip of the hat to the Sandhogs. We all know a little of the history of construction. Yes, Rich?
I missed one thing.
Yeah.
I didn't, but I want to reiterate it. It's people like the board, everybody in this room, to get the funding. The funding is so important, and I know that's a tough job for the chairman because a lot of times I solicit funding. And there's nothing worse than trying to get money out of people that don't want to give it. So I want to give them a lot of credit. It's a tough job. Jamie, great representative, good partner for the chairman there, and I hope your knee gets better soon, Mr. Chairman, see you
Okay.
running around the block over here.
Okay. I want to get down in those tunnels with you. But I just wanted to say, first of all, if we're talking about thank yous for funding, we got a tip of the hat to Governor Hochul because she moved it through the legislature and she's been a supporter of this project in particular in our capital program. But let's just remember that when the last time I saw Rich, I think, was when we were opening Grand Central Madison Concourse, and he had with him the family of a worker who had been lost in that project. So let's not forget that we're going to build this thing. We're going to do it on time and on budget. But there are people who are in this particular trade who are, because of history, we know, we hope we've learned from history and that it will never happen again. But from history, we know that those are dangerous jobs, and people showing up every day to do that work is something that we have to honor. So thank you for being here, and thank you for the partnership. It's no secret that the first phase of Second Avenue came under criticism for its cost, but you have worked in both the staffing approach that you've worked out with Jamie, but also the alternative dispute resolution, so that we honestly get this away from the folks who just want to turn everything into a big lawsuit and make sure people get good medical care. It's something that we work with all of our unions to accomplish. So thank you. Question, Mr. Let's just let a couple questions fly. We're at a break. Yes, Mr. Zuckerman.
Very brief question. I heard a hearkening back to the previous phase of the Second Avenue subway. What are the names of the boring machines this time around? Any children of any mayors? What do we got here?
We're hard at work. We want to make sure we avoid a process that results in a tunnel McTunnel face. We'll figure out exactly how to.
All right, so the answer, Madeline and Lily may be good.
Yeah.
If you're looking for names, just
Okay.
they're available.
Okay. I have a substantive question, though, for Sib, which is you mentioned AECOM and HNTB coming on as project management consultants. Just would you confirm for the board that they are at risk for their fees on the schedule? Because this is one thing that we've tried to institute for all of our mega projects, especially.
Absolutely. We have a performance evaluation plan for the PMC consultant, and they're going to be evaluated regularly, and their fees are linked to performance.
Well, I hope the fees are linked to the accomplishment of schedule. I don't want to debate good, bad, or indifferent. The schedule is the schedule, so that's got to be the linkage.
There are also incentives and disincentives for them tied to the milestones.
Got it. Okay. That's what I would like to hear. Jamie.
After the gentleman, sorry
Please,
about this.
please.
After the gentleman's comment about naming TBM, it might be really nice if we could name the TBM after Michael O'Brien, the last lost on the project.
Yeah.
That might be
That's
nice. This
that's
way,
power-
it's just not a fictitious name. It's nobody's daughter, son, dog, or cat, or anything like that. It's somebody that actually given their life.
Point taken.
Yeah.
Point taken. Yeah. Okay, Jamie,
Thank
go
you.
ahead. Thank you, Rich.
Back to Sib. We weren't done. Part 2 on Second Avenue.
Oh, yeah. So really looking forward, thank you, Mr. Fitzsimmons, and we're looking forward to working with your organization, which is essentially going to lead to a leaner crew size on the tunnel boring machines. And we got into some criticism on that on our last phase as well. So we've been actively working with Sandhogs to ensure that we have global best practices in place, which are going to give us better output at lower cost. And with that, I mean, it's going to lead to almost $100 million in labor savings, and this number has been confirmed by our independent project management consultant as well. We expect the tunneling costs to be much lower on a linear foot basis on phase 2, and that's through leveraging the technology and the labor resources which are going to be at our disposal, and we're constantly looking for additional savings on this job. I'm now going to hand it over to Ms. Miriam Harris, who's going to advise you on where do we stand in terms of our property acquisitions.
Thank you. With respect Hello? Okay. As I said, we've taken a very deliberate approach to build on the success and apply the lessons learned from Phase 1 of the Second Avenue Subway project. This phase of the project was designed to reduce overall impacts on residents and businesses. As a result, it requires 50% fewer residential tenant relocations and 10% fewer commercial unit relocations as compared to Phase 1. In addition, and very importantly, there will be no disruptive temporary relocations of tenants in this phase. In Phase 1, all eligible tenants and businesses were successfully relocated and received benefits. We did this through engaged and open communication. We are continuing this in Phase 2. Our tenant relocation experts are engaging early and continuously with both residential and commercial tenants to ensure they understand the process and the benefits they are eligible for when they relocate. These benefits include a professional real estate consultant for their search, moving support, fixture payments for businesses, and a monetary relocation benefit for residential tenants. We recognize, and we continue to recognize, and to address the unique challenges and complexities of the New York City's housing market in this phase of the project. We understand that the basic federal relocation benefit is not enough in New York City. Therefore, we have determined that eligible tenants can receive enhanced benefits that significantly exceed the baseline level set by the Federal Uniform Relocation Act, especially for those tenants in rent-regulated apartments. The incremental cost of these enhanced benefits for rent-regulated tenants are paid for by the MTA. This reflects our responsibility in supporting residential tenants in making a smooth transition into their new residence and providing additional financial support, which they can use over the course of their new lease and renewals, or to use as a down payment for a home purchase. Next slide. On this slide, you can see a diagram that outlines the steps in the acquisition process, as well as how the tenant relocation process is conducted in parallel to that process. Below that, you'll see a summary of our current progress. In summary of that summary, it is projected that all properties required for the project will have been acquired or have court petitions filed for condemnation by year end of 2025. It is also critical to note that the adjacent building monitoring can take place in advance of the start of construction. To that end, all building monitoring access agreements have been secured or are in active negotiations, such that construction can proceed safely with the work without delay.
Thank you, Miriam. Moving on, we are continuing proactively to talk to all the residents, schools, merchants, and elected officials, and making sure that everyone is part of the conversation. We have set a 20% local hiring goal. We're in partnership with CUNY. Internships are going to be awarded, and we are looking at job creation for the East Harlem community. And we're coordinating closely with all the agencies to address traffic safety and noise impacts as well, which are critical in delivery of this job. Our path forward is quite straightforward. We're looking at mobilizing the tunnel contractor. We want to advance the procurement for 106th Street station. We want to complete the remaining real estate acquisitions and ensure that our systems design keeps on track, and that's also going to go into procurement next year. To conclude, we have our leadership behind us. We have incorporated the lessons learned from Phase 1. We have completed our cost containment measures, and we have utilized advanced, innovative contracting framework as well. We are firmly on track with a disciplined strategy and a strong delivery team as well, and we are poised for better, faster, and cheaper delivery. Thank you.
I'm so grateful the governor came to my art show, I have to say. Jamie.
Thank you. I mean, I hope the committee sees how seriously we're taking this project, learning the lessons from prior projects, that we've built up a great team and organization to support the team. Of course, great partnerships with labor, and the project is moving. If there are any questions about Second Avenue, please go ahead. Otherwise, we'll hear from the IC.
I just want to say we're taking steps to make sure that the recently confirmed FTA administrator has a full personal briefing on this project because the federal investment, which was included in the president's budget this year, is such an important piece of it. So we are doing everything to make sure that the new administration is up to speed because they are a big piece of this project as it moves forward. Blanca Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the presentation. One comment and a question on my end. The comment is that coming back, or when I walked back to take my train from the meeting in August in Harlem, it was so nice to see that storefront that the MTA has for the public to just come in and know more about this project. And I really appreciated that. And I don't know if that was captured in the presentation or not, but I think that was key in terms of community engagement. My question has to do with the relocation, and I appreciate the additional information that you've provided and you keep providing to us with respect to tenants. The tenant relocation experts, is that an in-house, or I'm not sure if I missed it. Who does that job? Is that something that we partner with, or just
Yes,
some
we have a
information on that?
third-party consultant that works with us.
Okay, and that's the real estate consulting
We have,
firm? I don't know.
We have three.
Okay.
We have a real estate consultant, we have relocation consultants, yeah.
Okay.
Namely, OR Colon is one of our consultants that you might have heard of before.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to know where that came from. So thank you.
And the point of that is, these are experts. I mean, that's what, this is a one-time thing. We don't have that capacity in-house, but also, we want experts who are able to really engage with tenants. It's never simple. It becomes very complex. There's no way to build a mega project like this in a dense area like this without some relocation. But that's why we bring in this world-class expertise. And just to emphasize what Miriam said, which is half the number of tenant relocations as in phase one on this one.
Any other questions, comments? All right, we'll hear from the IEC on this subject.
Thank you and good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Today I'm providing an update on 2nd Avenue Subway Phase 2 and the latest quarterly traffic light report. The IEC's detailed monitoring of the projects are on page 15 of your committee book. The 2nd Avenue Subway Phase 2 program started with the award of Contract 1 in December 2023, followed by Contract 2 in August 2025. Notices to proceed for Contracts 3 and 4 are anticipated within the next 2 years. The program budget remains at $6.968 billion, with the revenue service forecasted for September 2032. Contract 1 covers the relocation of utilities in preparation for the work to be performed in Contract 3. The contract has faced challenges due to inconsistencies in utility drawings, unforeseen field conditions, and finalizing property access agreements. The project team is developing mitigations which are expected to significantly reduce delays to key milestones. The IEC notes that the overall program remains on schedule. Contract 2 has initiated startup activities and is progressing as anticipated. The IEC further encourages the project team to conduct a comprehensive and quantitative review of changes in schedule, cost trends, and contract awards to identify potential impacts to the program. TLR?
Okay, any questions about the IEC's comments on 2nd Avenue? Go ahead, Mr. Suresh.
This month, the IEC is also reporting on the latest quarterly traffic light report, TLR. In the second quarter of 2025, the IEC reviewed a total of 248 projects for cost and schedule adherence. The IEC notes that this quarter, 92% of the projects reviewed in the TLR did not trigger a schedule variance, and 99% of the projects did not trigger a budget variance. Of the projects that were impacted, 19 were for schedule and 3 were for cost. C&D and the IEC prepared a brief summary for every project with a variance. This quarter, the projects which experienced variances were impacted by challenges such as encountering unforeseen field conditions, scope changes, lack of project support and coordination issues with other projects which diverted resources and delayed the start of construction. The IEC would like to highlight a good business decision on the Brighton Line track replacement project. While on site, it was discovered that reinforcement of the track bed was necessary. This additional work was done while work crews were already in place. If the crews had to return at a later date to complete the reinforcement, slow speed restrictions for trains would have been left in place until the work was completed. The scope change minimized the project's impact on customers. This concludes our update on the latest TLR results.
Okay. Going on to IBX?
Yeah, and just on the way, I just want to emphasize, to the board, I mean, it's gratifying to hear the IEC, introduce a comment like that. 92% on, on schedule, 99% on budget, but pointing out, that we have created an organization here that can make strategic decisions where we're out there in the middle of a project, new conditions are discovered, which is inevitable. We try to find everything we possibly can, but it's inevitable that once you get out there and start to do real demolition, you find things. We're able to very quickly add that to that contract. Do you go over budget because of that? Technically, yes, but the reality is you're avoiding a major, much more expensive disruption later. That's not every project that's covered by the TLR, but it's a very good example of the way that we've equipped ourselves to deal with state of good repair in this constantly moving system and keep projects on track.
But the other side of the coin is, to avoid those situations, you got to do more invasive testing. You got to find out, make sure you know the geotechnical conditions, the rock, underground, where the utilities are, and so on. And that's a lot of the preparatory work, which, starting in my era at C&D, but especially in Jamie's era, we have done a lot more of. And that's the way you make sure you don't lose time right at the beginning of the job when you start finding out, like they did on 2nd Avenue Phase 1, oh my God, I got to freeze the ground, and that's going to cost you a year. So 2nd Avenue Phase 2 did a lot more invasive testing than the previous versions, both of 2nd Avenue and other projects of that kind, and it hopefully will pay off. Jamie.
On to IBX, Charlie Gans and Jordan Smith. Sorry about that before, Jordan.
Good afternoon. My name is Charlie Gans, and I'm the project executive for the Inner-borough Express. The presentation begins with a handful of slides on the project background and then moves into project updates. IBX will provide a transformative new transit connection between Brooklyn and Queens. It will run in an existing rail corridor from Sunset Park to Jackson Heights. The corridor is currently used for freight. We will add passenger service while preserving freight service. 19 stations are planned over a 14-mile corridor. Stations will provide connections to 17 subway lines and over 50 bus routes. 900,000 residents live within a half mile of the line, and there are over 250,000 jobs in the corridor. The project began in 2022 with the release of a feasibility study. In 2023, the light rail mode and stations were selected. Last year, we released the design RFP. This year, the MTA capital program was approved, inclusive of $2.75 billion for IBX, and the IBX project team was selected. The IBX design team was selected. In line with our goals to deliver better, faster, and cheaper, we've made some substantial improvements to our plans. We've removed street running from the alignment and are advancing the design of a tunnel solution under Metropolitan Avenue. We've sealed passenger service off from private freight sidings. We've refined the alignment and the track curvature, and we reduced dwell times at stations. All of these factors allowed us to increase traveling speeds. So speeding up the line reduced the end-to-end travel time from 39 minutes to 32 minutes. And this had a similar effect on the ridership, which increased from 120,000 to 160,000 riders per day. These changes will also greatly improve reliability for riders. Continuing on the same theme, we've removed 11 bridges from our list of structures requiring reconstruction or expansion. We've converted 8 stations from side platforms to center platforms, reducing vertical circulation costs. And we've moved the East New York station closer to Broadway Junction in order to shorten transfer times and distance. In July, the board approved the award of the design contract to a joint venture between Jacobs and HDR. Design is a 2-year process and will consist of 3 major components. First, corridor due diligence consisting of surveys, soil borings, and inspections. Then civil design, including site work, utility relocations, retaining walls, bridge work, and track work. And finally, light rail design, which includes stations, an operations facility, a storage yard, and systems, which are inclusive of traction power, signaling, and communications. The final project update is on outreach. We've done extensive outreach on the project. We've held 10 open houses with almost 1,000 attendees. And this is a photo of an open house that we held in Ridgewood, Queens. We've also done 10 pop-up events at subway stops in the corridor during both the morning and evening rush hours. And on a quarterly basis, we hold a virtual community council meeting with all electeds and community boards in the corridor. And our open house program will continue this fall with new dates and locations to be announced soon. Thank you very much.
Mr. Albert.
Yeah, I think this is a very exciting project. I think it's going to definitely change people's travel habits. If you're going Brooklyn to Queens, although there are 4 subway lines that do that, but this will make for a much quicker ride. But I'm wondering why you don't describe it as traveling from Bay Ridge to Jackson Heights. Why do you say Sunset Park?
It's a good question. We're right on the edge. I think it's 65th Street or 66th Street is right on the edge. So we kind of, honestly, we're a little inconsistent on that point.
Looking at the map, it sure looks like
geography is Mr. Albert's area of expertise, and we don't argue with him, just so you know. It is called the Bay Ridge line that we're operating on, and just for fear of Mr. Albert, we will refer to it as Bay Ridge.
Noted.
I'll just emphasize for the committee, frankly, you're used to seeing on, mega projects historically, the executives come to the board and the scope has expanded and the runtime is slowed down. That's not how we're approaching the Inner-borough Express, right? We've got our project executives that come here, and despite the fact that we're, moving into the more difficult parts of design, we've eliminated the number of bridges that have to be reconstructed, which is the big cost driver, big risk on this project. We've increased the runtime, which in turn is going to lead to higher ridership. We've got to decrease. I'm sorry, we've decreased. Thank you. All right. We've decreased the runtime and sped it up, which is as a result of that, because it's faster. More people are going to want to ride the line. We've got a roughly a 30% increase in ridership since the board last reviewed this project in terms of our projections. So it's great work that's happening here.
Mr. Glucksman.
Thank you. We heard 2032 for the previous project for Second Avenue Phase 2. Do you have an anticipated completion date for IBX?
Not yet. We're moving into the design period, which will really expand on the scope of work. So we'll get a lot of clarity on that. Also, in the design process, we're going to be doing a lot of analysis on sequencing and the scheduling. And given the number of bridges, that's really the critical path. So we haven't released a revenue start date yet.
Thank you.
But we also have to nail down a big chunk of the funding. It's not a secret that a project of this magnitude is going to look to Washington for support, and that process has to begin. Midori Valdivia.
Just want to say kudos to the team as a Brooklyn person that lives by one of those next stops. This is very exciting, and really appreciate the periodic updates that we're getting, as I'm sure we're going to want to dig in. But thank you so much for your leadership, and thanks to the team. It's really great to talk already in the outset of the program about how we're making the service better. right? And how we're focusing on service. And I think, all these capital projects are in service of the service, right? And so it really matters. So thank you for highlighting that and appreciate the runtime work you've done.
Okay, any further comments, any other business anyone wants to take up? If not, we'll throw it to Mr. Iceland for procurements.
Thank you. This month, I'm presenting 6 procurement actions totaling $141 million. The first item is a request for a resolution to authorize the use of the competitive RFP process for all MTA design-build contracts. This resolution will extend the one granted by the board in 2022 through the end of 2028. The next item is a new award to Forte Construction Corporation of a publicly advertised and competitively solicited contract for design-build services for ADA upgrades Package 7 in the amount of $103.7 million. This contract will provide upgrades at the Kingsbridge Road Station on the 4 line and the 167th Street station on the B and D lines in the Bronx. The work includes 4 new elevators, 2 at each station, as well as a fire alarm and suppression system upgrades at both stations, and the construction of new fare controls at the Kingsbridge Road Station. And then with this action is an award of a maintenance contract for the 4 new elevators to Mid-American Elevator Company in the amount of $6.8 million. The remaining 3 items are modifications. The first is a ratification of a modification in the amount of $2.4 million to a contract with Infinity Contracting Services Corp. This mod will rehabilitate the track pit number 8 at the 207th Street overhaul shop. The next item is a ratification of a mod in the amount of $3.1 million to a contract with Atkins HNTB joint venture. This one's for additional design services for a CBTC implementation and for enhanced cellular coverage on the New York City Transit's Fulton and Liberty lines. And the last item is a ratification of a mod in the amount of $25 million to a contract with Siemens Mobility, Inc., to add the development of hardware and software for 5G-based data communication system train equipment, support for the installation of the testing of the new equipment on 2 R160 class and 2 R179 class subway trains, and then ordering of long lead components for the new equipment for the full installation on both fleets. These items are described in detail in the staff summaries contained within the committee books, and I submit them for your consideration and vote.
Any questions? I was just saying to Jamie, can you explain a little more the Atkins item, because it seems like that's the cellular communications and some other work as well. How does that all work?
Yeah, happy to. What we're doing there is originally this contract, the Fulton line CBTC program didn't involve Liberty line. With the new capital program, these design services will add Liberty line to that project. And then also, we are, I guess this is relatively new, we're incorporating into the contract the requirement to do the installation for Bolden, which is to support cellular service within the line. Okay. So we needed the designer to help us include that into the RFP.
And just for the board's clarification, Fulton was for lack of a better, the western section of the A train in Brooklyn, and you're going further east in Brooklyn. When you say the Liberty line, you mean going further east in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, the 20 to 24 plan has CBTC on the A and the C to Euclid Avenue, and then the A running to Ozone Park. That's the Liberty. That's in our arcane verbiage. That's the Liberty line, which we got funded in 25-29. So we package them together, and then as Evan notes, we also are having the contractor pull the fiber for cellular service on behalf of Bolden, which you have a public-private partnership with. They're going to fully reimburse us for that. So including any incremental cost of design, we'll get fully reimbursed.
And it's called the Liberty Line because it runs along Liberty Avenue.
Okay. Is that Bay Ridge or Sunset Park? Yeah. Okay.
Ozone Park.
Yeah, I know. Midori Valdivia.
Hi, I just have a clarification about the first item, competitive RFP. So this is saying that anytime you're using design build as a contracting method, you're going to go competitive RFP instead of, competitive RFP instead of like the bid process that you normally use. But this does not mean that RFPs no longer come to the board for authorization, right?
No, the rule for us, what you said is correct. We're going to bring the RFPs to the board for approval.
Okay.
The rule for us is that we need to do competitive bidding unless we get a resolution authorizing us to use the RFP process.
I see.
But for design build,
We
only
should
the
use
RFP.
competitive
So
RFP.
what we've
Okay.
been doing over the last few years is asking you for sort of an omnibus resolution that for design build contracts, we can just use the RFP process and then we will bring it to you for the ultimate approval.
Okay, great. So we'll still see the RFPs.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, with that, may I have if there are no other questions, may I have a motion to approve that? Thank you, Mr. Herb. Second, Dr. Rizzo. All in favor? Any opposition or abstention? The items are carried. I think that concludes our agenda. Is anyone wishing to raise any other topics? Okay, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Thank you, Blanca Lopez, for a second. We're in adjournment.